Hi, I just wanted to take a few moments today to speak to you about what I'm going to call Christians in the modern American presidency. There have been a couple of things this week that have really disturbed me and discouraged me as a Christian when it comes to how Christians view the American presidency and the men who occupy that office. It began with a tweet and a Facebook update by Dr. Russell Moore, who's the dean at the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. Dr. Moore commented that he was honored to have spent and received and spent a significant time on the phone with former President Jimmy Carter. Um, President Carter was a man of faith. He was the one who the media blew up the term born again about. He teaches Sunday school in his home church in Georgia. His theology and his ethics and his practice may be a little different than what some of us would hope. But he's a man of integrity, and the comments that followed on Dr. Moore's posts were disturbing, and they showed very little respect from those who claim to be Christians. I was encouraged that Dr. Moore commented himself that had he been a non-Christian reading those comments, he would probably not be very interested in Christianity at all. Today, in my home state of Oklahoma, President Obama is making a visit. I've seen countless reports and updates regarding the president visiting that state. Oklahoma is a very unique state. I'm proud to be from there. It's a state that prizes the American individualistic spirit, but it also lends sometimes to things that I really have a hard time with, and the lack of respect and the lack of dignity shown to the office of the president during this visit is deeply discouraging as a Christian. I know that some people vehemently disagree with the president and his policies. That's fine to disagree with the policies, but there's still a respect that we should have for his office. So what should a Christian do? Here's what the Bible tells us we are to do. The Bible tells us that we're to honor those in authority over us. The Bible tells us that we're to pray for those leaders. We have an allegiance to our leaders. Now, as Christians, our utmost allegiance is to Christ. That's why Jesus said, "Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar, and to God the things that are God." I mean, our allegiance is to God, and at times we may be called upon to have a prophetic voice where we call out injustice, and we speak about those things that need to be spoken against. And we may become politically active, but we still do so with dignity and respect for those who may disagree with us. You know, besides having a prophetic voice, we should be praying people, praying that God would guide our leader and our president. The Bible tells us that God steers and governs the hearts of our leaders. So we need to be on our knees and praying for these men, praying for them, and praying that God would protect them and keep them safe. And just a little issue of perspective here. I think sometimes we just lose perspective. We've insulated ourselves into our own culture, and we've lost a sense of history, and we've lost a sense of what's going on around our own world. Can you imagine Jesus and the Apostle Paul and the disciples? They didn't take time for those kind of things. And believe me, being under the rule of Caesar during the Roman Empire as a Christian was much harder than it is to be under a president who is Democratic if you're Republican, or Republican if you're Democratic. It just isn't even in the same ballpark. So keep a matter of perspective there. I mean, Paul didn't let who was sitting in the office in Rome dictate what he was going to do or his courage he was going to have for Christ. And we shouldn't either. We should be all about following in that example. And then, as a matter of perspective, even the worst of our presidents are so much to be desired over what many in our world experience. I mean, we have Christians who are suffering intense persecution at the hands of political leaders. We have it made. Um, and then just keep in mind, we are witnesses. We are salt in our culture. We're light to the world. And we're not going to be very effective if all we're known for is what we're against, and known for is what we despise. I mean, our love should be for the Lord Jesus and a desire to glorify Him, and that doesn't mean you have to denigrate everything else. Now, we should hate sin. This is not what this is about, but it's about respect for those who are leading. Just from my own experience, when I was pastoring a church in Little Rock, Arkansas, I was elected as leader of the local Baptist Association, and during that time, President Clinton was elected into office. He was a member of one of our Baptist churches, and I had the occasion to spend time with him to be able to talk to him. Our daughters went to school together. Leah and Chelsea sang in a choir together at the school. And so I would see the president and his wife on occasion, even sat next to them in the movie theater one time. And although I never voted for Bill Clinton for either governor nor president, I still respected the position that he was in. And I still prayed for him. And there were times I spoke to him about things that I disagreed about, but I respected the man and his office. But let's just be godly, let's be Christian about the way that we think of our presidents. God bless.